If you guys are anything like me, you like to go fast. And this car right here, it's not fast. As a matter of fact, it's probably the slowest car I've ever driven. But today we're finally gonna change that because we're gonna swap in its brand new 6-liter V8 engine. Hang on a second. I realize there's a lot of grown men here. They're gonna piss their pants and go running for their mommy when they see a Chevy motor. But I promise you guys, I've got something crazy in store for this Foxbody that is gonna completely set it apart from every other Foxbody you've seen. The only downside is, most of you guys are gonna miss out because you're not subscribed. So now is probably a good time, scroll down and hit that subscribe button, and you can see what's in store for this build. So I think the first order of business is gonna be putting this new tubular K-member in the car. And the reason I bought this is because I don't have a tube bender, so when I built my tubular rad support, I had to do 3 pieces, 2 verticals and 1 horizontal piece. And this appears to be manufactured in a very similar style with no bends along the bottom here. So hopefully when this is in the car, it looks very cohesive with the rad support, and I think this will really clean up the engine bay. All right, that's installed in there and it looks so good. I love seeing race car parts amongst old rusty metal. I just think it looks so cool, such a cool contrast. And it actually was a pretty quick install. I was kind of dreading it, but it went pretty smoothly. This part is not gonna go smoothly. We've got the dirty old subframe here. I managed to get the hub, the steering rack taken off on this side, which was not easy. Gotta take all of this apart because most of the stock stuff is going back in the car for now. And this isn't gonna be easy. If you guys can't tell, I'm Canadian. This is filthy. It's December, so that means the hoses outside are frozen. So I don't know how we're gonna get this cleaned up, but there's years and years of dirt and grime on this thing. So we have to get this cleaned up somehow, but first step is gonna be unbolting it all. Monster. Oh God, look at that filth. This alone is enough to make me want to switch to a tubular subframe. Look at this. What is this, seeds? And a mouse on this car? Look at that. 3 pounds of slop in here. God. Back here's even worse. That's disgusting. Any chance that this is not frozen solid? Gonna be cold after this. It's gonna work or not. So my plan is to get the upper strut mount through these holes and get at least a nut or two on here. Then I can try to get the control arm up into place because I won't be holding the weight of it anymore. If I can get those bolts in, I'm gonna undo these again so I can drop it down, slip the spring in, jack it back up, put these back on. Easy peasy. I have finally got the suspension back in this car, and oh my God, that was one of the worst jobs I've ever had to do on a car. Those springs did not want to go back in there. My sketchy little spring compressors that are already kind of broken were not up to the job, so that was a nightmare. But it's finally done. And if you guys have seen my other Mustang build, that car handles like it's on rails. And I do have some pretty big plans for this car to hopefully make it handle even better. But for now, I just want to get the car back together. I want to get the engine in it. I want to be able to do some sick burnouts. I want to be able to realize that the 4-cylinder brakes aren't up to the task of stopping an exponential increase in horsepower. I want to be able to panic a little bit, and then it'll be time to upgrade and overhaul the suspension on this car. For now, we've got the steering rack all cleaned up. We've got bushings ready to go into it, and then it'll finally be time to put the V8 into the Foxbody, and I am so pumped. God, you fair weather car guys don't know how good you got it. You're supposed to be able to just pull these things out by hand, and I'm having to use a ball joint press to get a stupid rubber bushing out of here. All the unnecessary crap is deleted out of the engine bay. We've got the engine hoist rigged up here, so it's finally time to see if we can get this sucker into the engine bay. All right, the engine is sitting in here loosely, but this has been incredibly frustrating. For starters, the engine mounts didn't line up super well. I called AJE and they said, that's fine, just use 3 bolts. There's 5 bolts, and they said just use 3 because these mounts are used on other engines too. Engine is sitting in here. You can see this side is fairly lined up. If I just drop it straight down, it'll be lined up with the subframe. On this side, I don't know if you can see that, but it is like 3 inches too far to the side. Even looking at the engine, like look at the space between the strut tower on this side, and then on this side, it's basically banged up against the side of it. So I don't know if they're gonna fit, but I'm gonna try flipping these engine mounts left to right so that the slots aren't up and down, they're side to side, and maybe that'll give us enough play side to side. But if it is, I'm gonna look like an idiot. I'll show you guys anyways. I don't think that's gonna fix it. I think they sent me the wrong something, and we're gonna have a big setback here. But let's try.
I don't think you can go down at that Russian line. Any bit? Good.
They go through the back?
See? I knew it was in.
Nice. All right, it is finally in there. I guess it was just a matter of switching the mounts from left to right. I know that most guys doing LS swaps probably can't read, but it would have been nice if they included some instructions. But it looks sick in here, and there's just one thing left to do. Oh. That looks sick.